I think I should leave it that way. Thank you.
Wow, I'm like, Dr. Abe is just, I dropped the mic drop. That's it. Let's all go. Well, thank you so much for that addition where, again, like I said earlier, I could hear the passion why. And thanks for letting us know that even before now, you've had, some previous work in this aspect is something we should talk about. In Nigeria, we don't talk about it as much. To our listeners, if there's still someone that you think should be here listening to this conversation, share the link with them. If you're watching the replay, let us know, drop your comment, but also share the link. This is a method of giving back, or helping the women. These lovely ladies have created an app, Thryve, that you can begin today. You don't have to wait to see your doctor to start as at least screening, asking what are the symptoms. All the symptoms and things to look out for is on the app. Check yourself. This I'm feeling down. I'm feeling blue. What is it? Check it out. But above all, you are not alone. That's what I'm hearing. These four women have come together based on the need, based on the gap in what they've observed. It is one in America, it is one in seven mothers would have postpartum depression. And about 20% of maternal mortality is due to suicide, which is, secondary to untreated perinatal mental health disorder. So it's not something small. It's not something you minimize. It's not that you're weak. It's not that there's something wrong with you, or you're cursed, or you're somebody that can't. No, this is due to hormonal changes. Your adjustment to the hormonal changes. Reach out for help. Download the app, check it out. At least start somewhere. So with all you've shared, thank you. My next question now would then be talking about building. So Adiola, knowing you before now, meeting you before now, and knowing the work you've done, especially with Matter Mentor, what was sharing that vision with the other ladies? What was it? And just hearing, let's do it, and building. One of the things I shared and why I wanted to have this conversation is at times we have a vision, we have an idea, and we are shy, scared to speak up. We are worried people may turn it down, people may say no. Tell us about what made you speak up about whatever it was, the summit, whether it was the International Women's Day. Why did you speak up? Why did you share it?
Well, I'm just the type that if you know the purpose why you're on this earth, you continue to align with everything you do. And then, so when I mingle with people and I see a need for um, people that have passion for to make life better, right, irrespective of the discipline or the profession, right, then it give you that trust or the platform to start observing. Because here is the thing, I do a lot of public speaking, I do a lot of podcasts. I don't wait after the conversation. After we're done speaking, we leave. But this was different. We kept talking, and then while everybody was talking, I there was something divine about it. It just brought back, like, okay, Diola, you remember that 2023 that you said it's not enough. I think you have the right set of people now, right? So some things cannot actually be explained because it's divine, right? But just seeing people that have passion. And here is the thing: we, to date, Thryve doesn't have funding. We do not have funding. We do not have grants. We're just using all the knowledge, and everybody is busy. We're not just wearing one hat. We have several things. We are on this different time zone, and we just made this thing happen. So it's just to tell you that whatever I felt that time, I didn't make a wrong move, because it's easy to say yes. Emotions. I think people love this, but ability to carry emotions over the years it just tells you that you have hit a jackpot with the people you're working with. So I would So that
Thanks.
made me speak
Yeah.
compassion.
Thanks for sharing. That is very important, and I'm going to get the perspective across, but soon, where for the person building that is thinking of building. So, Kende, what would you tell us? Somebody is out there right now saying, "I have an idea, like Adeola too, that has been in my mind for the past 10 years. You know, I have this burden, but I don't know who will be as passionate. I don't know, should I even share? Let me keep it to myself, or maybe even a burden where the person's even like, you know what, this keeps me up, but I really don't know. So maybe I won't just talk about it, I'll dismiss it. So for the person thinking of building, what would you tell them, Kenny?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, building alone did not happen in our case because we all had each other. But in any case, right? I don't believe that there's anything we have to do in this world that we have to do alone. Even being born, I'm a twin. I was born with some other person, right? I didn't even get to do that alone. So I feel like if there's something you have, if it's important to you, we all have like different jobs. For example, I think somebody mentioned earlier, Adela mentioned earlier that after that call, she told her friends that, oh my God, these people. I had the same experience because I had a friend with me when we had that podcast, and I told my friend, because I think we all added each other on LinkedIn after that. I was like, look at this women. I just had this podcast. We're like, look at everybody. Nosa is a doctor. Adiola has like several platforms. I know she does public speaking, and Adiola is a pharmacist. And I'm like, these babes are like really powerful people and stuff that I got this opportunity to do this thing with. So I would say that if you look around your circle and there's nobody, not one person you can share your dream with, then either you need to change the people you keep around or expand your circle because it's easier when you do things with other people. My experience working on Thrive with these other ladies is most of the time you're so burdened with life, with work. There was a time I had a health challenge last year and I could not do anything on Thrive. And these other ladies picked up the work and they ran with it and got it done some way. I couldn't contribute at that time. I think it's happened to each one of us at every point in time that somebody else picks up the work and continues. So the work doesn't have to stop if you're not available. And I think that's one of the most important things about working with other people. So if you don't have anybody in your circle that you can share an important idea with, that you can work with, you need to find other people to put in your circle because you don't have to do anything alone. I think is it the Bible that says if you want to, I don't know, if you want to, um, one will chase 1,000 and 10 will chase 10,000. So sorry if I've muddled that up, but something like that, right? You can go far by yourself, but if you want to go further, it makes more sense to go with somebody else because it's better to work as a team. Once the morale drops from one person's side, the other person is always there to encourage you or maybe even continue the work while you're taking time to do other things you have to do in your life. So it makes sense to work with other people. Just tell anybody you think you can trust in your circle. And again, if you can't trust anybody, then you're ending with the wrong set of people. We should change that pretty much. That's what I
Thank
would
you so
say.
much. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Kende. You know what resonated with me, and that's great. That's a Pastor Kende. That's a great scripture that you shared about one which is 1,000 and two which is 10,000. And so, I'm not going to get started before I turn this platform into a church. But there's some scriptures that, as people of faith, we think is only in the context of praying, in the context of something, but we do forget it. So it's very important that you brought that up because that is very applicable in here. That is teamwork. So you cannot, there is no way. You cannot do if you think you've done something by yourself, wait till you get the right set of people and you're like, what? I could have even done much more. Yes, because there's power in teamwork. I mean, even God Almighty said, let us make man. He didn't say, I am God, you, let us. So that us is very important in everything we do, whether you need prayers, whether you need mental health support, whether you could, like Candy said, I just love what you said, where God did not put us, you're like, I'm a twin. I'm like, yes, you are. Yeah, you didn't even get to choose to come. You didn't. Nobody asked you, would you like to come alone? You didn't get to do that. I love that a lot. So, with what you said, because we can't, we really can't do life alone. And if there's any message to somebody listening to us, you can't do life alone. There's nothing, if you do it alone for something, maybe in isolation, that is not meant to be the permanent thing. You can think alone, you can analyze alone, but you cannot execute to the best version of that thing alone. Because that's the way God made all of us to be interdependent. And so it's just great to hear. So I'll go to Dr. Nusa before I come to Adeola. I'm going to go to Dr. Nusa and I'm going to ask, um, doing this, you being I won't say the neuroscientist, what would you say, with the neuroscience aspect of, loneliness is one of the epidemic. I'm not going to say globally, but I'll say in the US, where people are lonely. There's isolation, and with that comes with everything else. Dealing with, if somebody was out there and is like, you know what, I don't want to have to deal with teamwork. I don't like disagreement. I don't like to be explaining myself. What if you can't understand the vision? What if we'll fight? What would you, with your background and stuff, and maybe I don't know how that was. Tell us about, if there's somebody out there that is just like, it's too much work, disagreements, explanation, it's energy. What would you tell them about reaching out or doing things with other people?
Yeah, so thank you again, Dr. Tura. So when it comes to building, I'm sure the products or whatever you're trying to build might not just be for yourself alone, especially when it has to be an impactful one. So in order to, the moment you maybe you're asking question for anything you want to for those any exploration, any discovery has to start with you asking questions and all those things. At that point, when those answers can, you can't give the entire answers, and of course if you are able to give the entire answers, that means it's going to be a myopic product or myopic response. I don't mean the myopic that is abusive. I mean just from one perspective type. So if you end up with a product that is not usable, that maybe is not effective, that won't even be a motivation for you to step ahead with other things. So I believe the first thing is to look in, and I know, and I'm going to use this opportunity to also talk about people who have had opportunity to also team up. There are some people that were open to sharing vision, sharing things with other people, but maybe based on some of the hurt that they've had, they
Yes.
withdrew. And they had to just be like, no, I think life is not about dealing with people. People are so wicked, people are so bad. But I would say this, I think one of the things that guides me as a person in collaboration is I use those three keywords, I anchor it on my IPO. I mean my interest, my passion and orientation. And I'll try to break it down. So when it comes to interest, I look at people who have maybe common curiosity. And just as the ladies have mentioned, there was this curiosity. We were talking for like 30 minutes. Well, no, it wasn't up to 30 minutes, well, maybe something lesser than that. But within that period of time, we were able to, we touched a lot of things. We touched a lot of things. I mean, connecting to women and how we thrive. I mean, how we are able to get things done. And those were those interests. I think when you recognize that interest of people around you, you may have a lot of people around, but you're able to see that interest in those people. That is one. And then the passion, the interest, everybody may be interested. And then after the call, we all went away. Something brought and made this thing to progress to the next stage. And that is the passion. I could say, oh, I feel you. I feel what you're saying right now. And after the conversation, I just neglect whatever you, maybe even if you send me a mail, I don't respond anymore. That means the passion has dropped, even though the interest is there. So you have to, as a person, maybe if you're trying to get into people or maybe see who to share your vision with, because it's not all the time that when you share your vision or what you're thinking that people get it truncated. most times or sometimes people get favored. And I also want to emphasize the part of being favored. There are times that we get into a circle of people that are not right, and there are times we get into settings that are also that is helpful, and they become a completer and makes that vision attainable. So being able to channel those interests, your passion and the orientation. I look for people as a person that the orientation is up. When it is up, there is a sprouting. When it is down, the whatever you're building may go down because there is no opportunity for expansion or growth in it. And so that orientation, that passion, that interest matters, and that I feel will help to filter in and help you to know who to share that. Because building alone, just as Kenny and Adeola mentioned, may make that whatever you are building to be a standalone thing, and
Correct.
it will not impact the world. And I hope that everyone that is building anything will want it to cut across and not just, and even the world is expanding into diverse opinion, diverse perspective. Organizations are building and exploring that part now because they discover that that is where the the key and the riches are. I'll stop. Thank you.
It's like I need to keep. I'm going to add later. I'm going to get to your podcast. I need to start listening to your podcast, just like that. Very, very yes. That was great. What resonated with me, especially when you were just speaking about, you have to think beyond yourself. That's like the key thing. Kind of just what Diola and Kehinde to, it's life has to, I think it's just a mind, I believe it's a mindset shift everybody must have. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to be great, it cannot be about you alone. If you're going to be better, even when you're struggling, your struggles are not peculiar to you alone. So don't die just not speaking up. Don't let anything die. Whether it's your emotions, whether it's your passion, whether it's your gifting, whatever it is, don't let it die with you. And it's amazing that that's what you all are sharing, where you just found it was just a is it Elizabeth and Mary, your the baby in you, Elizabeth, just he leaped, and you're just like, yes, these are the right set of people I want to be with, and just running with it, and it's just great to hear. So thanks for sharing. You're right, Nusa, you're very right about the world is getting bigger. Collaboration is the future. You cannot just be like, yeah, I did this, I did that. So it's how do we leverage on the power of collaboration, and so it's great to hear. Thank you, Dr. Nusa. And so to Adiola, what would you say to that person or to those people now that are now working on building, and they're just like, um I don't have time. I don't know how to prioritize. What with people? No, I can't do it. How do I prioritize? I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a founder. I'm a this. I'm busy. I'm a pharmacist. I'm a this. I'm a that. Patient care can be. How that person listening to us? How should they prioritize? Maybe who? Even though I know Dr. Nusa said that, but I like the IPO that she shared. How should they prioritize that? How should they prioritize their time? Prioritize the people? Prioritize the project? What do you have to say to that person?
Thank you, Dr. Tiwa. I think I was just the right person for you to ask that question because
You see why I was like, Adola, I'm coming, I'm coming,
no,
I'm
the
coming
reason
to
why I said that is I think out of all the four of us, it looks like I always seem like I'm the least available. If everyone is going to have is going to agree with me. But I'm just going to leverage on what each and everybody has said. I think the most important thing first is to identify people that you have common interests with and are passionate about what you're passionate about. Because the truth about the matter is that, just like we have all said, even if you have the vision, even if you have the passion, you will need people to be able to execute it very well. You need people to execute it efficiently and effectively. And I think one thing about this vision that Dr. Diola has brought in is because she has shared it with the right people. So Nosa is somebody, and kind each and every one of them are very, very detailed. Nosa is very time conscious. So if she tells you we are meeting 5 o'clock, she will be there 5 minutes to five, and she'll be telling you, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Kenny is like, she's somebody like, oh, okay, I know you're busy. Okay, don't worry, I understand. We are doing this, we are doing that. So Diola is the same thing. They are all very so if you have that vision, if you have that whatever it is that you have, if you have it in the hands of very, very efficient people, trust me, they will run with it even beyond what you can actually imagine or beyond what you can think of. So prioritizing in everything that we do is kind of difficult. It's very difficult as a woman to prioritize. You are wearing so many hats. And at the same time, I think for me, I keep thinking, oh, we have a meeting 8 o'clock. Okay, I'm on call. 8 o'clock. And I'm so many times on this platform, they've rescheduled and scheduled meeting because I'm either on call or I have a meeting or I have other commitments. And that's just the power of agreements, because we all understand that we wear many hats, and as much as possible we try to give each other, okay, I'm not available today, okay, can we do it tomorrow? And okay, what time is best available for you? Thumbs up to Dr. Nusha, she's always putting out a poll. What time is best available for you? Ken is always calling me. Hello, have you seen it? Have you seen that poll? So I think it's a struggle that we all just have to admit that it will come. But if you have like what we are doing, if you have it in the hands of capable people, you can be sure that they would run with it. And because you're in the same, you have the same values, they are passionate about it, and you can be rest assured that even beyond what you think, these people are going to carry it through. Because like I mentioned earlier, it's not an easy hat to wear. We all have commitments, but also just to mention again that your passion will always drive you. So regardless of the other commitments that you have, you would always find time for it. You will always find time. So if it's something that you're passionate about, like we said, is beyond, it's beyond just you. If you realize that this thing is beyond just you, like the vision that we have for Thryve, for example, is to go beyond. Diola was talking about going to rural area, and I'm sure that in our conversations we've talked about people that don't have access to smartphones. How do they really access this thing? So it's a global vision that beyond just, we are going beyond just the internet. We've started thinking about how it's going to reach, people that are hard to reach. So, and we've also realized that it's not just one person that can do it. So I feel like with prioritization, for example, let me just use my clinical experience. So if I get to my ward in the morning, I'm looking at my patients who are the most terrible patients. Those are the ones that I'm going to start with. So for prioritization, as a woman, if you are passionate about something, your family first, your passion comes next. You would always find time for it, and you would leverage on the people that you have built this, that you have connected with, knowing that where beyond what you can reach, you have people to hold your hands. Like Kehinde said the other time, there were times where everybody has been low in one way or the other, but we have capable people. Diola, Nosa, these are capable women, all of them, that you can rest your odds that because they are there. So you know that they will keep the job going. So I think the most important thing is to find a good, network first. Realize that you need it, because one tree cannot make a forest. So realize that you need people, dependable people. Ask God to direct you to these people, and then, yeah, before you know it, you're already going places, and God will help you to prioritize that. So let me just
Amen. Resounding amen.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. See, I'm like, I'm glad that question, it just felt like you were the right person for it, and so many nuggets. So thanks for sharing, just how it sounds like this has stretched the four of you in a good way. And it's just great to hear that. And even for you, Adela, the way you were saying, like, you know, that statement, one tree cannot make a forest, is very critical to keep in mind, because things can happen and just like, please just let me be, enough, I'm done, leave me alone. Did I say yes to this? Please, I changed my mind. I don't know what I was thinking that made me say yes to this. Maybe I was just joking, or just a joke, or I didn't know what I. So, just really saying, despite it all, despite whatever you were going through, your plate, everybody was busy. You're all, professionals. You're successful. You're doing great, but there was just that passion that kept the four of you going, whatever the despite was. So it's great. It's great to hear. So one thing I want I'm gonna ask probably the four of you would be, was there any time? So this may be maybe one of my wrapping questions, but again with partnership, again with support, again with purpose, was there a time? So the question would be, was there a time you were just like, I'm done? And what made you come back? I know passion. Passion is good. But I want practical thing that made you feel like I want, so looking back at that journey now, Thryve is great now, so we're looking back. So, but was there a time where, because that would happen where sometimes you're like, um, I reached out to Dr. Tiwa, and the way she spoke to me, I didn't like it. I actually regret switching out to her. I would never reach out to her again, never. So, was there any time while four of you, where this was new, it was a new space, and I think if it's from Dr. Nusa's podcast last year, so this connection is less than 2 years, is less than 2 years. So how, and we, working with women, working with new person in general can be challenging. So this is me now asking where it's a common question. I've asked it before. I asked Dr. Nusa, but I think I want to hear more about the disagreements or the days you were frustrated where I'm like, I really cannot. Because I want the people out there that are listening to us to be like, maybe disagreement is normal. It will not always be rosy. And Kenny shared when she was down, when she was sick. Yeah. So what beyond passion, what is the practical tool you will share with someone that is like, I'm navigating interacting with other women or another person? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Bible says one will chase 1,000. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My passion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe I need to pull out. Maybe this is not the right person. What would be those practical steps, tools? And like I think it was Kenny that said that, to like change your circle. If you're not finding those people, either change your circle or expand your circle. But if you have now, it seemed like you found them, but in between you're like, no, what I thought was this. What would you say? What would you tell that woman, that person that is struggling, dealing with support or dealing with disagreement, dealing with negativity about their decision of reaching out? What should they do and how should they navigate that? Let me start with Dr. Nusa.
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Tiwa. I think I'll start from our own case. I think we were lucky not to have that because two things were at play. We didn't even have time. So anytime we have opportunity to meet, we have an end goal, and we were running towards it, and we had a deadline. So I not every team will be that lucky to have that, to be to fall into that space. We didn't have that much of time, so when we're meeting, there is focus. And one other thing that I think helped us was that we were real women, and I think that's also lend credence to our opportunity to come together. We were real, kind of, when we are talking, when we are in meeting. No, 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 this shouldn't be, and nobody is taking anything against her. And we even laugh at it. We can laugh at it and say, this grammar is something. This, it was. I won't say seamless because I'm not in the mind of everyone, but I think there will be times that we also had to lower our bars. There are times that you just feel maybe you misconstrue something and you're just like, no, I saw this. What does this mean? And they explain it to you. And then you say, okay, this is not what it meant. But I'll take it to a more general thing. When it comes to, and I've had the opportunity to work across other teams, when it comes to general collaboration or partnership, learning to translate things. Your perception may be different from others. And if you want to just force your opinion down others' throat, it becomes something else. So being able to also translate what your perception is to a language that others can understand. For example, in our own team, we didn't have that, but we have engineers, we have somebody who's a researcher, we have somebody who's a pharmacist, we have somebody who's a healthcare practitioner. She sits by the bedside. He is an engineer who is working, who is the technical part. If you're talking about, we want this thing to get to the remote area, Kenny had to draw us by the, okay, that's not really possible right now, except we have to work with so thing, which we still have to dig deeper in. Imagine someone who is so dogmatic about, no, this is the way it should be. We have to get, there are people like that in a team, and then it will slow the process down. We didn't have that in our team, but there are teams that are going through this, and then it's kind of weigh other people that are in the team down, and they're like, okay, since this thing is not moving, they may just get discouraged. And so these are some of the things that has happened to teams. And there are teams that got hurt by maybe because they see that someone is intentionally not wanting to contribute or maybe do something. And when you are in a team and you see that, okay, this person is doing this intentionally, it gets to hurt them. And when they join other teams, they are just like, let me calm down so that they won't think I like work. And those are the things that have affected a lot of other people moving from. So everything you do if you're in a team now has a way of placing precedent, affecting other team that is still going to come up as a result of those members of that current team being another part of another team. And then it becomes like a chain of reaction. What you have, the response they've got now becomes have a direct impact on the next one they're going to get into. So I believe that when it comes to, in our own case, something helped what we're working with, and I know you agree with me, Dr. Tiwa, because this field is a very sensitive one. As a neuropsychiatrist, you have to work within the code, you have to work within the ethics, you have to work within aligned with the end users. And we have someone who is a trained mental health pharmacists who sometimes call us back, no, this might not be ethically right. For example, Adeola would call and say, no, I don't think we can go this route. This is sensitive. And we have something we're working with, which was the screening, which is already mapped out, which is so there was not too much of anyone's perception anchoring on anything aside that we were making sure it's aligned with the ethics, with the standards, because this is a very sensitive one. So we didn't have much of that disagreement. But generally, people disagree based on some of those things that I've mentioned. And it's important that we let down our bars and we are ready to transpose or translate our learnings to others in a way that is clearer to them, with the mind that we have to get into the end goal, which is to get something that is reliable and useful at the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. It's very impactful what you said about just I'm glad that your team there was a mutual understanding and mutual respect where we don't have time, we're busy, let's prioritize, even if it's 5 minutes, let's utilize it well. So that's very good that the maturity is what I was hearing. And you know what I've heard across the four of you, I like that you complement each other, you one another. It's very nice, just very refreshing. Where women, because sometimes like I don't want you to shine so that you don't outshine me. Excuse you. Seriously, the sky is so broad and so wide, it can take all of us. So I like that, with this conversation, all I've been hearing, you've been highlighting people's strengths. So it's really great to hear. So but yeah, it was good to hear you say just the organization, maturity, being openness, being open to hear other people's perspective. And what I'm taking away, and to those listening to us, is being open to growth. So there's still room. So don't just come, it's just me, or just my highway, or just my vision, which I'm going to go to Diola soon. It's just this is what I see, and this is the way it must be. So just being open to other people's perspective, and just the opportunity to grow, to stretch. Everybody's on a journey, everybody's coming from different perspective, and this it's very great to hear. So thank you, Dr. Nusa. So Adele, I'm coming to you, Adela Folorunso. You being the speaking up, the visionary in that piece, even though by the time you shared it, everybody was like, yes, 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 I've been thinking about it. And so for you, have there been a time where you're like, did I share? Maybe I mean, they're here now. So if I'm asking you, it's like I'm setting you up. Thrive came. But was there a moment, if you're being authentic and honest, where you're like, who sent me? Who sent
Yes.
me?
Who
Why
sent
did
me
I
message?
why did I do this? Like I should have just been on my own. Maybe I should. have even spoken up, it would have been easier. So were there moments where you were second guessing speaking up, not just maybe for them, but maybe for the workload of Thryve that you didn't envision? And how did you, what were the practical tools, especially for someone listening to us that maybe is like, oh yes, I have an idea. Oh yes, maybe I found somebody now. Oh yes, let me go share it. Or would there be moments I would say, oh no, and how do I navigate that?
Thank you so much, Dr. Siwa, and whoever is listening. For me personally, there isn't any moment of such. In fact, I'm forever grateful. The day Dr. Nosa and I connected on LinkedIn, right? I don't know when the moment happened, but I'm forever grateful because you connect with people and connection just stopped there.
Correct.
I'm sure there are a lot of people you've connected with on social media and it didn't go beyond that connection. But one thing kept leading to one another. So to me, I come from a perspective of being appreciative, number one. Then number two, personally, I I always put the vision and mission, above my ego, right? If you know me too well, I'm a lover of information and education and perspective. So that puts me on a very good platform that I can learn from anybody. You don't have to be in my discipline or in my field. Because what I want to do is that I want to take that information that you have that I don't have, which I'm privileged to. I want to take it to bedside, to my patient, and it will come in different aspects. So um, to people listening, people should not be afraid of disagreements. As human beings, we all have different perspective about life. No one knowledge is above the other. Whoever has that knowledge at that moment, assume the role of leadership. I cannot say much about tech. I didn't go to school to learn tech. I only have a surface knowledge of it, right? But when they start using some terms, I'm sure Kenny can remember sometimes when she uses some acronym. I was, Kenny, what is that? I don't know what that is, and I'm not afraid to ask what is that, because so I think people, when they come to partnership, they're always scared of we're going to disagree. It's part of life because in that disagreement comes innovation, comes growth. It gives you different perspective about yourself. And as human beings, we have a blind spot, right? That is not known to us, but that is known to other people, right? So having people around as team helps you to, it brings your blind spot closer for opportunity for growth and for partnership. So it is very important when it comes to partnership that disagreements will always come. So prepare your mind, going in with the right mindset. So don't let this disagreement stop you from the vision. Keep the vision abreast. Focus. Keep your focus. If there's
Yes.
any drama like that,
Yes.
keep that as your focus. That's your vision. Just keep going because it will come. The main fact that we're coming from different disciplines, and it's enough for us to disagree,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
It's enough for us. And even if we're coming from the same, Diola and I were almost close to in healthcare thing, we will still not process things in the same perspective. So the mindset, ability to have that paradigm shift of that mindset that I will not always know it, I will not always have the answer. In fact, I will be so naive at times in my own vision, but being open to, you know, being open to that innovative ideas that people will come up with. But again, the goal is and it's also important that we need to be emotionally intelligent too.
Correct.
It's very important when it comes to partnership. Like Dr. Nosa said, there was no time where, would say that this idea came up and then you're just kind of fixated that it has to be this way. That idea might look good, but at this point, you have to be open to perception that you have to come out of your ego and see reason and be in that person's shoes. And that give back to empathy or give back to, different perception of seeing things differently. So that knowing when, put your emotion aside, put
Correct.
your PhD emeritus aside because you might you you might not always have that information all the time. Not everything we're going to learn in school. You might have the highest education on that thing, but you might be struggling with people's management. So it's an opportunity to know that, you know what, I might be the most educated in this group, but there is still something I have to learn. Why will you do that? Because the passion is the driving force. So you're going to step down and just put that ego aside to make the initiative move forward. So I've mentioned that emotional intelligence is very important because I've joined groups, other groups, and I know that it was a struggle. Thank God I'm just a team member, I'm not the head of the team, right? So, but I was observing and I was learning, and I knew that for me, this is a great learning opportunity. That if even you are the most educated, the most advanced, the most exposed, put down the ego and let the mission be at the top of the initiative. And then never join a group that you know you don't respect the people there or you can't trust them. It's important. If I cannot respect you, any information you bring, I'm just like, you're just saying whatever, So the respect and trust is very key for anybody. So partnership is very important, it's very key, and then we should never be afraid to face disagreements, right? Because it's very important. But the only thing is just that I would just encourage people, any team members, if you're a member of any team anywhere, learn how to give feedback constructively. That's very important, right? By putting down the ego. By the time you realize that you respect people, then the way you give feedback, the way you address things will be different, and then the group can move forward.
Wow. Well done, Jella. Great point. Several things you said resonated with me. And, while you were talking, I just envisioned a room. And it's almost like when you're going to that room called your meeting, you just drop your ego at the front door before you open the door. So that while we are going, it's almost like you have to reorient yourself. This is not about me. This is about us and the goals where we have set. And I love the things you mentioned about emotional intelligence. A lot of people lack emotional intelligence. I see that in my line of work. Um, you know, self awareness. I think they were saying maybe only 20% of people in the world they're actually self aware. So the whole 80%, people are just doing things without sitting down and, paying attention. One of my mentors, she's very big on that, where she just tells, you have to, or two of my mentors. So they both mention to go far, to make impact, to be great, you really need to be self aware. You have to be self aware because your self awareness guides your actions, your preferences, what you say, how you dress, everything. And we lack that when sometimes just it has to be me. The pride always goes down before it always destroys. Pride destroys relationships. Pride destroys missions, visions, project. And so it's very key. And it shows even, with where you were, when you brought up, you sharing that idea, or whether it's mathematical, whether it's just like, this is not about me, this is something bigger than me. And how can that work? Let's keep it. So it's very great and very refreshing to hear and to tell the person, someone listening to us, be prepared. Don't avoid teamwork because of fear of disagreement. In spite of that, be prepared. It will come, but use it as an opportunity to grow, to leverage on that, to use it for innovation. So to those listening to us, I agree, I echo that. There will be no, I mean, Kendi is going to speak soon, but I'm sure Kendi and Taiwo, even though they're from the same womb, they do still fight and they do still disagree. Maybe fight is not the word, disagree on opinions. And really, maturity is really how you use that disagreement, how you leverage on it to expand your capacity, to be curious about it. And we're all learning. Everybody is on a journey. We're all growing. Well, we keep growing till we die. So thank you so much, Adeola, for sharing that just right to the person thinking of partnership and maybe trying to avoid that. So, Kehinde, what do you have to tell us? While working with this, three of them are kind of, well, everybody is in STEM, is in science field. So I was gonna say maybe not in STEM, but no, everybody is STEM. So now we're not working, but working with all these women, and they have all this vision, patients. Dr. Nusa is, research about patient care, Adeola, and the two Adeolas are talking about bedside and all. And I just like, guys, how was it for you? When you're just, stop, you guys, how was it where you needed to communicate your perspective? Maybe they didn't even understand it. And how was, again, whether it was difference of opinion, disagreement, or maybe when you were even sick, like you mentioned, was there a time where you're like, I'm done, I'm frustrated. I mean, guys, I'm out. What do you have to say when the going wasn't as good as you may have envisioned, and what would be the practical steps to that person listening to us in navigating all those challenges? Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Tiwa. I think, like everybody's mentioned already, we didn't really have a lot of those problems because I think we're fortunate enough to work with very matured people. For example, when you say giving up, I don't even think I don't know. I don't think there's any point in time where any one of us thought, okay, I'm out of this or I can't do this anymore. Even when we've been too busy or when I've had to take a couple of months off because I was very ill, I never thought I would give like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore, right? And it's so important that people understood, right? Like I mentioned earlier, at every point in time, maybe somebody has been too busy to contribute as much as they would love to. And naturally, the other team members will just step in, Sometimes we split the work we have to do. And, if you finish your bit of the work first, people would naturally step in and say, oh, Kenny, what about this, right? Are you done with this? What's left? Do you need help with something? And I think I appreciate Dr. Nasa for that. She would not even let you give up on anything. And she's such a, what do I call her? She's such a collaborator that she has this ability to, keep checking up on you, keep you on check. She keeps everybody right. That's what I would say. At least she keeps me right. Let me speak for myself. But yeah, and also when it comes to disagreements, right? I don't think there's any time that we've all had the same idea. Most of the times we all come with different ideas and we need to choose something. I think even when coming up with the names, all of us probably came with like 10 names at a time, right? So like everything we had to decide, we would come with what are the pros and cons of this, right? We would discuss it. I think the fact that everybody's so emotionally intelligent, nobody's taking anything personally, and it helps to make decisions when it comes to stuff like that. We could decide, oh, why do you think this should be the solution to this, or you give your argument in favor of or against, and we can always say, okay, actually, now that you explain it, it makes sense. For example, like you said, obviously we're all in STEM, but I'm in IT. Everybody is in something related to health, right? Sometimes they talk about stuff. I think so many words they say, and I'll be like, what does that even mean? If I'm not trying to Google words on my phone, I'm like, could you please explain what this is? And then they take a break and they explain, then they carry me along, right? There's never been a time where they're just having their own separate conversation and like, oh, Kenny is just a tech person. All she has to do is work on the code or whatever, right? They've managed to carry me along in every conversation that even when I talk to my friends about this app I'm working on with this lady, they're like, how did you even? Because I work for an investment bank, right? So I've worked in banks all my life. So if I'm not talking about financial products, I'm talking about code I'm writing. So when I tell my friends I'm working on this mental health, they're like, how did that happen? Then I start this whole story. So I think another thing, right? I don't believe there's any problem that doesn't have a solution as long as people are willing to discuss it in good faith, right? We don't have the notion that this person doesn't believe. I believe we all have the same goal to get this thing off the ground and to get this thing done. So it's easy to understand, even if somebody seems like they're too busy to, contribute as much as you would want them to. We understand that, okay, it's just the season of their life right now. It's just something that is happening to them. It's not like they don't believe in this anymore, right? So it's easy to step in and pick up things for other people as well. Then yeah, one important thing I would like to say is this group of people, they have this maturity to have difficult conversations. There's so many times where something is happening and I want to say something. I'm like, oh my God, how are they going to feel? And then somebody else says this exact same thing. I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't have to be the one to say that. And I feel like some reaction. Then everybody says, oh, actually, you're right. Or if somebody points something out, somebody says, I'm sorry, I didn't think of it that way. And we just resolve issues like that. Because trust me, it's not like we've never disagreed on something. Obviously, we don't fight about anything, but we all have different opinions. But the ability to have conversations in a mature way with emotional intelligence, like someone has already mentioned, I think is the most important thing that we've had going for us in this team.
Thank you so much for sharing. Um, Several nuggets. I like you sharing where when they were saying some things that you didn't understand, just like, excuse me, what is this, and just stopping there and then just asking, clarifying, agreeing. It's just refreshing, very refreshing to just see four professionals work together on a goal and get along and set aside their ego and really just work for the vision. So thank you so much for sharing. And so to Adiola, please help us out. How did you navigate? Was there? I've been told there was no drama, which is good. No drama among the women. It's great. Or were there other times when you're just like, I don't know, or maybe just stop, maybe take a break, or whatever challenge it was. Other than there was the work which you shared already, but if there was somebody out there that is just um maybe just looking at more of the thinking of some challenges, what should they envision, and what would be your advice to them to navigate what may come?
I think like we everyone has said, we're lucky now. We are very lucky. We didn't have any. I don't think I ever had any time where I thought about or second guessed my decision as to being a part of this project. I would also like to say that in as much as I had times where I felt like I've fallen short, in my contributions as much as I would love to, there was never a time where I felt, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have made this decision. And I would just like to tell the person right there that for every vision that you have, um, there will always be challenges in any group formation. There are different stages that a group goes through, the formative stage, before they become very concrete. So you should anticipate that. However, how do you then navigate these challenges to achieve your goal? I think that's the most important thing, which Kenya has mentioned. Diola has also mentioned about being emotionally intelligent. Variety is the spice of life. So you can't say that because this is you, this is how you want it. You have other people with other opinions that might differ in you, that can even now sharpen and make whatever that vision even more seasoned, more than you have anticipated. So I think going into a group, you should realize that just like an MDT in the care of a patient, you would have several people that are coming from different backgrounds. And I think that the most important thing as a person, and the most important mindset, is that you're coming to that group to leverage on everybody's strengths to make sure that that vision is achieved. So if you have that in leveraging on people's strengths, you would have disparity in opinion. And I think how that is being communicated and that is being dealt with would go a long way in how you are able to achieve that stuff, achieve the vision. So it's just while the anticipation should not be in a negative way, even if it comes, I think handling it is more of where the task is how we handle it, and how we make sure that even with the disagreement, with the different opinions, we are still able to achieve that task. So for that person, yes, there will be challenges. I think in our own case we were very lucky because, just like Nusa said, we didn't have the time. And the time that we had, it was just for the task. However, in a lot of groups, in so many groups, there will be challenges. But I think beyond the challenges is how we are able to, deal with those challenges as a person, as a team, and go beyond the challenges to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you so much for summarizing and wrapping things up for us where, just leveraging. I hear leverage. I hear whatever may come, prepare, things will come. Just like what all of you have said, and Adeola also wrapping things up where we're from different backgrounds. You have all said that. And so just prepare, but prepare to grow, prepare to this will stretch you, prepare to, yeah, to stretch. Whether there will be time factor, whether there will be understanding factor, whether there will be vision or whatever may come, something will come. But just stay focused on the vision. So thank you so much. Thank you. It's been powerful. I'm sure you didn't even know you've been talking for over an hour. Yes, yes, it's been that enriching. So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. So as we wrap up, I'm going to ask that you each share, to that person, whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching the replay, I just want you to be able to share your last maybe words in that sense about reaching out, support. You have an idea, or it doesn't have to be an idea, you're struggling. You have a burden, you have something, because this is just not about even an idea of start something, start an app, or start some. This is beyond, you just, whether you're struggling, whether positively, negatively, whatever it is, speak up, reach out. And if you have the opportunity to create something to bridge a gap to help somebody else, do it. So if you need help and you can help someone, speak up, do something about it. So what will be the last words? And while you're sharing that, please share your how they can follow you. Even though in all of the platforms we're going to put all that there, your personal information. But if there's a particular platform where people can follow you, please let us know. And it's been great having you all. So I will start. Jola Gumbemi, how about you? Just start that since we're the
Um,
last speaker and just, yeah, close us out.
yeah, I'll just say for the woman, for that person, um, that's lonely, that needs to speak up, I'll just use this platform to encourage you to please, 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 and please, like someone will say, please speak up. I mean, speaking up is the first step to getting a solution to whatever it is that you're going through. I mean, just speak up. I know that we are in a we are getting to that stage where everybody wants to keep to themselves. But yeah, even when God created Adam, he realized that it was not okay for Adam to be alone. And that was how he created Eve. So it's very important. However, you want to speak up, please, please, and please speak up. It's very, very important for that person, for that woman, whether you're struggling, whether you have a vision. I mean, if it's a vision, keep your vision. The Bible says run with it and just speak up. I don't want to go spiritual, but yeah, I would just encourage you as much as you can to just speak up. And I know that once you've done that, that's the first and most important stage in getting help, whatsoever help that you need.
Thank you so much. How can they follow you? How can they reach you?
Oh yeah, so we have Thryve on Instagram. We have Thryve on LinkedIn. We have our Thryve page on Facebook as well. It's Thryve, and then you can also download the app. Like we've mentioned, it's very anonymous, and you would have the opportunity to get resources that can help you if you're struggling with your postpartum health, as well as opportunity as well to get support from healthcare professionals. So yeah, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, I think we're on TikTok as well. Yeah, you can follow up on
Yes, we
all
are.
those platforms. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Adela, for sharing.
Okay.
Dr. Nusa, anything to add to that, that person? And if you want to share how they can reach you, either personally, privately, or collectively.
Yeah, thank you again, Dr. Tiwa, for having us, and thank you to everyone that is currently listening and who those who will still be listening. We appreciate you taking time to listen to how we came about this app and what gap we're feeling, and to everyone that is out there and is going through one face or the other. It's a face. And the fact that you're in it right now, it seems like the whole world is crowded. It feels like no one is listening, no one understands. There are situations we go through, and it feels like no one knows what I'm going through. They're not in my shoes. Just know that that's yourself is in your shoe right now, and the best you can do is, and I think Dr. Adeola mentioned, however you can reach out. It may just be true questions. You may ask questions, and from those questions, you will know if this is the right person to speak with or not. For people who are very private, and if you are the type that is also private and feels that I don't want them to further hurt me based on some of the hurt that you've gotten as a result of opening up at one point or the other, everyone is not the same. Even yourself, some people are finding it difficult to trust you, but there is one person or two persons that you can still trust. Look out for them, and then you will find them. And also know that yourself care about yourself. And it is when you look within that you'll be able to find that instinct that will connect you to the right source. I would also like to mention that, as I mentioned earlier, the face will fade off. So stay strong within this space so that you can have opportunity to step out of it and be able to make that impact. We don't want to sound so spiritual, but we believe in some of this in divinity. And it is that your purpose on earth just has to be fulfilled. If you get consumed by this current phase, you won't be able to see the next one. This phase will pass. So love yourself out of it, or get yourself out of it, so that you will have opportunity to also impact other people. Because there is a reason why you're here, and that reason has to be fulfilled. And I think finally, you you can get this face out by also loving yourself first. And for postpartum people, for postpartum depression, for male or female, I think we were also emphasizing for men. We don't really talk about men who are also in this phase that has no one to talk to. This is also a phase, and this app also will cater to it. Even if your wife is going through it and you have no opportunity to, or you don't know what to do, reach out to the app and help her to understand some of those things. It's a face that she will get off, and it's a face that you also will be able to get off. And thank you again, Adela, for mentioning our platform through which we can be reached. Thryveminded.com is just the website you can go to, and you'll be able to see those apps, be able to click the link and download it straight. I think maybe if I make any mistake, Ken will be able to correct me on that. And I can be followed on Instagram, I mean on Facebook. Well, I think my podcast will be better to follow Saint Drive and Saint Drive podcast on YouTube, Saint Drive on Facebook, and on LinkedIn it's Nosarieme Abey. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Tiwa.
And thank you so much for those parting words. Those were great. I'm glad you actually mentioned on if there's a husband, because postpartum depression affects men. 1 in 10 men would have postpartum depression, and we don't talk about it. Like, is it you that carried the pregnancy for 9 months? What's your problem? So that is what most people say. But I've had several of my patients actually they're yeah, it was they're men that same exact same, like, people are wondering why am I the one dealing with this. And so I'm so glad you mentioned that there is a resource. While this may be mostly for women, because it affects more women than men, a man can benefit from understanding themselves and also their wife and their home, and even to communities. I know we didn't touch on community. I think we did a little bit maybe on that in May with Adeola, but communities too. If you've always wondered, how can I help my community, maybe my women or my men, they tell me they just had a baby or they're pregnant, expecting, download the app, and it's very informational. It's a good resource that provides psychoeducation. So thank you so much, Dr. Nasa, for mentioning that. Kenny, all right, last some words, and how can they follow you? And either, as if there's mentioned collectively, if there's anything privately to share.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tiwa, for having us and everyone for joining. And I would say that I'm not a mental health professional or anything, but everybody at one point in time has had like a mental health episode. Maybe not the where we like to categorize it where we're from. But even if it's anxiety, some sort of depression, it doesn't even have to be PPD that we're talking about. Like you want to make a big move in life and you freeze up. You can't even take the first step because you're worried about the all the things you have to do. I would just like to say that the most difficult step in doing anything is always the first step. Once you take the first step, then it gets easier because now you're in it. You have to keep going, right? So I would just like to encourage everyone to just take that first step towards getting help, right? Another thing that helps me in my personal life is how people talk about compartmentalizing. I do something like that, but in a different way. There's this notion that we think, only one person, we have to go to only one person for all our problems. I've got different friends that I talk to about different things. I have a friend that I talk to about work problems. I have a friend that I talk to about maybe relationship problems. I've got two sisters. I talk to two of them about different things. There's no one, I don't think there's not one person in my life that has like 100% knowledge of everything I'm going through. And it helps, right? It helps that you have people you can talk to about different things and they understand. You don't have to talk to just the one person about everything. If you feel like, oh, they're going to think, why do you always have problems or something like that? So, yeah, the first step is always the most difficult step, and it always helps to talk to people. I have so many friends that talk to me about stuff. I could never help them with anything. I just sit down, listen, and smile, repeat the same thing they say, and they nod, and then we laugh about it, and that's it. I've not helped them in any way, but it's been maybe freeing to share things. And also, right, like Dr. Nasa said, EPD doesn't only affect women; it also affects men. And I think that was one of the things I feel like we had that conversation several times that some of the words we used, right? Me, I'm just a software engineer. Just tell me the words to type it and I type it in. And we had to have conversations several times that we need to be careful about how we word things, how we word the question is. We don't want to signal that this is closed off to women. We are only trying to help women. So we've managed to, modify the wordings of the questionnaire that we've made it so that even men feel like they can use the app. If you look at the app, the way the color scheme is not all pink or all blue that you think, oh, this is for women only or women doing things for women. So it's like it's for everybody. Men and women can use the app to get help as well. So to follow Thryve, like Dr. Nasa has mentioned correctly, we have a website. It's just a one-page website to redirect you to whatever store to download the app, whether App Store or Google Play Store. It's called thriveminder.com. So if you're on a phone, on a mobile device, and you go to that website, it just links you directly to the store where you need to download it. And for our social media platforms, I think Adeola has already mentioned that. We've got TikTok, which is Thryve platform. Instagram is the same thing at Thryve platform. Then we've got Thryve as the Facebook name and LinkedIn page names as well. And we've got an email address, which is thriveplatform@gmail.com in case anyone has any questions or maybe any feedback or anything. You could also give feedback on the app as well. And to follow me personally to find out information about Thryve, I've got a LinkedIn page, which is Kehinde Olukayode. I think there's a couple of us, but once you see me, I think you will know that, okay, this is this babe that was talking there the other time. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about Thryve
Thank you
and
so much,
the team
Candy.
members.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And when you were talking, even though we're wrapping up, what struck me, there's one of should I say leaders that I listen to. Maybe once I say you may know him, but he says, who likes you, who does not like you does not matter. It's only who likes you that matters. So when you were talking, I'm like, kind of it's just like really, I have this person for this, I have person for this. Ain't nobody got time for if you don't like me. Next, so that when you were talking, that was like really, 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 is really who likes you that really that's the person that really counts. Find the person that has a listening ear is what when you were talking that struck me. Just find someone. There'll be one person that would listen, that would care enough, and just find that person. So thank you, Kendi. And the last but not the least, Adiola. Take it home. You are muted. We cannot hear you.
I said it's been a wonderful time. Honestly, you know how you join a webinar or a podcast and you think you want to speak, but I've listened again to myself and to everybody, and there's something I'm also taking home for myself. So that being said, just because you feel alone doesn't mean you're alone. Because the truth is that even experts or educated people, they've so much mastered the way of hiding things, such that the world sees them as being perfect. And then the rest of the people that doesn't look perfect are now like the people that are not doing things right, or they don't know how to handle things. Don't be carried away by that assumption that because somebody appeared to figure it out or can figure it doesn't mean that they are figuring things out. They've have only just mastered how to, you know, mask that feeling. So you are not alone. Most of us, we've mentioned about reach out, reach out. There's also an adage from where we are from. If the Muhammad doesn't come to you, sometimes Muhammad has to. If the Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain, sometimes the mountain will have to go to the Muhammad. So where is the mountain here? Be intentional. Reach out for your loved ones too. The loved ones might not come to you. Be strategic. Reach out to people too. It's on Saturday. You have 1 minute, 2 minutes. For everybody listening here, we know that everybody is minding their business. That's what we are trying to do, right? It's great. But intentionally pick up the phone. Can I reach out to Jola? How is Jola feeling? Can I reach out to Kenny? How is Kenny feeling? And all that. Intentionally ask the rightful question, right? Because Jola might have mastered the way of, hiding it that people will not see. But even just reaching out to that person helps a lot. But having said that, if somebody had reached out to you, please do not become don't become a negative global microphone. Whereby you then now pop, oh, this person has reached out. Have you heard that she's currently going mad now? And it keeps going on like that. Learn how to respect people's information. They trust you so much. It costs a lot to ask for help. And if somebody has taken that initiative to reach out to you, it's a privilege, irrespective of your profession. It is a privilege. So manage people's information. Do not make it a center of global speaking platform, right? That person can actually know that, oh, this is me, this person is talking about. Please, it takes too much. It takes a lot for people to speak out. And that's why when people know that they are being spoken about, right, they just go off and they don't want to speak out. And that speaking out is just one face of it because there is more. So by the time you shut down the phase one, and then that's how you see people, they kind of like take the negative coping skills leading to suicide because they've looked around, right? They're surrounded by people, but they're not surrounded by the supportive people that they can actually trust. So it is a privilege when people share that information with you. So manage that information. And I also want to put it out there for everybody who has been like, Thryve. Yes, we are all Africans on this platform, but Thryve was not designed for Africans alone. It wasn't designed for African women. It's for everybody who has a brain or has the tendency to deal with anything mental health related issue. So it is not just, so please do not be carried away by skin color. It's not for just us. It's just that it happened, right? And I know at some point, which my team member can testify to this, when we're trying to market Thryve out there. Personally, I had to reach out to one of my Caucasian friend just to like put out, but it didn't work out, but just to put that information out there that please, Thryve is not meant for African women alone. It's meant for everybody globally. And it's not just meant for women alone, like Kenny has said. It's also, so we're very strategic from the get-go. We're strategic about the name, about the color, and about, the content of what Thryve has to do. So thank you so much again. I will say to my team, I know I've not said it, but I think I should say it openly. Thank you so much. I would love to do business with you guys again and again and again. And I love you guys. Thank you so much because your passion in healthcare, will say without using a stethoscope, it is highly palpable and is something everybody, and I'm sure that's what you can see.
Oh yeah.
We were not sponsored. We do not have, but time, we're even on different platform, different time zone, apart, but we're respectful of one another and the multiple road that we have to. So thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Adeola. Thank you, Dr. Nosa. I have become a better Adeola, even myself. Thank you.
Now I'm close to tears. This is really tough. No, that was great, Adela. I don't know. There's nothing much to say after that. So thank you, Adela. When you were speaking, the only thing I would then use to wrap up to everyone that has joined us. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. It's almost 2 hours of having fun, of learning from these four amazing ladies and what they've cooked together and put together and what they still envision even for Thryve for a global platform. So thank you for staying, listening, watching the replay, sharing, commenting, broadcasting. Thank you so much. Remember, you are not alone. Never alone. You may feel that way, but it's not true. You're not alone. Speak up. I love what Kenny said. One step, that's it. That's the most challenging step, but take it. Just one step. Speak up, seek help, reach out, support somebody else. Just like what they've all said, we've dealt with some mental challenges. It's not every mental challenge that you have that meets criteria for mental illness. It's a spectrum of different things, but the goal is mental health and mental wellness. That's what we all strive for. There will be times you have challenges. It doesn't mean, we don't use those words, you're mad, you're crazy, nothing. It doesn't mean that. Speak up, support somebody else, reach out to somebody else, as Adela said, check up on people. People are going through a lot. About 1 in 5 people, or maybe 7 now, it was 5 maybe during COVID, maybe 1 in 7, I'll still say between 1 in 5 to 7, will deal with some mental illness in their lifetime. 1 in 7. So if there's 7 people here, at least one person. So reach out. Let's connect with people. Reach out to people. Spread the awareness of reaching out, of connecting, on checking up with people, on mental wellness. We can all be mentally healthy. So, as always, it was great. I look forward to future sessions. Same station, same host. Dr. Ocean Fison. With that, I say goodbye to you listeners. Bye now. Bye.